Hello, everyone. I think this is possibly the last session standing between everyone here and lunch. So we'll try to, keep it short and also interesting. So in the next, 20, 25 minutes, we'll talk about a new phenomena that's emerging called One Tap Indonesia. And over the next 15, 20 minutes, you'll hear what this is all about. I think everyone here knows, and since the morning we've been talking about Indonesia, the digital landscape, how the customer is evolving. And I think everyone knows that Indonesia is a country which is always on, always online, always on the go. It has 3x higher smartphone adoption in the last 5 years, 3x higher new internet user growth compared to the world average, and more than 6 hours a day spent on the mobile phone. This leads to, almost, I think in the morning we talked about almost 170 million smartphone users in the country, which makes Indonesia the 4th largest smartphone market in the world. And most of the internet access that people are doing is through their mobile phones. Mobile is the preferred medium when it comes to internet access. But with this, if you see online user behavior, user consumption, all of those things are changing, they're evolving. Research tells us that in a day when a consumer is picking up their phone, only 50% of that time is actually predetermined, which means that the remaining 50% is spontaneous, exploratory. Only 50% of the time you're going into your phone to find something, buy something, watch something. But the remainder 50% time is spontaneous, exploratory. What does this mean? It means that when you pick up your phone during the day, it could be, these spontaneous interactions. Maybe you're feeling a bit bored, or it could be, between meetings. It could be when you're waiting to board a cab or a bus. It could be before you go to sleep. All of these interactions on your mobile phone are spontaneous. And the other aspect which comes is also that Indonesians actually prefer to access the content which comes to them on their fingertips and not, go discovering it. The preferred mode is for that content to come to them, because the journey of discovery on our mobile phones can be cumbersome, it can be long. We talked this morning about, things like exposure to so many apps, so much of content clutter. So that journey really needs to become more seamless for the consumer. All of this then leads to this phenomena which we're saying is One Tap Indonesia, or glancing, right? And what does a glance mean? A glance means just quickly looking at something, quickly moving from one thing to another. And glancing has a new definition now in Indonesia. It means looking at your lock screen quickly to find what is happening around you with a single tap. That's what glancing means. Look at your lock screen, find something interesting, relevant, what's happening around you with a single tap. And why is the country glancing? What are people glancing at? People are glancing because it helps them stay updated, stay informed, find relevant information, helps them to learn and grow, to enjoy beautiful visuals on their screen. All of these things are leading to this phenomena of glancing. And this year alone, if you look at some of our data here, we've seen a massive increase in this phenomena of glancing. We're talking about more than 100 billion glances just this year in the last 9 months, and more than 2 billion taps on those glances, all happening on your smartphone in the last 9 months. And what are people glancing at? We saw 3 key trends or 3 key content areas which people are glancing at. The first was memorable moments, and memorable moments especially around sports and music. If you see here, events like the Olympics, events around music, concerts, actually got more than 2 billion glances in just a couple of weeks. The other big one was around national events. Things around Independence Day, around regional elections, just staying updated, informed, engaged on some of these was again a big area of consumption. and more than 1 billion glances happened on just this topic. And the third big area is around learning, growth, and leveling up. Topics of wellness, fitness, parenting, healthy cooking, all of these things have gained a lot of traction when it comes to glancing this content. And again, we're talking about almost 3 to 4 billion glances on these topics alone. So this was the user side of things and how consumers are glancing. I'd like to request Sudesh Putram, Managing Director of Mindshare Indonesia, to come and share his thoughts on how brands are leveraging this phenomena of One Tap Indonesia.
Thank you, Vasuda. When they asked me to talk about this, there are a few things that I was personally very confident and in terms of the strength of the platform. Because when we look at it from 3 different lenses, first from a consumer lens, very clearly you see a shift in Indonesia in the fabric of the society. As my friend Suresh would put it, what used to be a collective society, very clearly you're seeing Indonesians trying to find the me in the we. So when you look at it from a marketeer or a brand lens, very clearly what used to work in the past where brands could tom-tom from the rooftop and grow, now need to personalize the message and be meaningfully relevant, meaningfully different to actually drive their growth. The third lens, when I look at it from a media perspective and the behavior of the audience, in fact, Rahul earlier had to ask everyone to drop their mobile phones down. Very clearly, the number of times people are picking up their mobile phones and glancing over it tells us that this is a brilliant opportunity that brands and marketeers can leverage to identify, look at the data signals on how they can connect with the consumers, personalize their content, be present in the right context, be present in the right content, and drive the messaging. So I think for brands to grow, what we really need is consumers to glance more often and glance more.
Thank you, Sudesh, for sharing those thoughts. We'll quickly take this opportunity to also launch the Glance Smart Lock Screen Trends Report in collaboration with Mindshare.
We'd love all of you to glance over here.
So with that, I'll quickly now request Guy Kellaway, Communications Director, Nestlé Indonesia, and Nitin Navaratna, Director, Glance Southeast Asia, to come on stage and talk about how Nestlé is engaging today's One Tap Indonesia.
Thank you. Thank you, Vasuta. Thank you, Sudesh, for unveiling the report and sharing insights about Indonesia as a market and giving us broad strokes about the consumer behavior here, which is super exciting, right? And with Guy on stage, what I want to actually talk about is what does all of this mean in the real world with brands, right? So Guy, in today's world, consumers are bombarded with content, right? All of us have content at the tip of our hand. I'm sure it is not anymore about just selling a product. It is about having those deeper connection with the consumer. How does Nestlé navigate this landscape, tapping into the little and big moments of users?
Yeah, so good afternoon, everyone. And let's make this an important session before everyone gets to lunch. Thank you for the opportunity. I think every day there are so many opportunities as brands for us to tap into what's happening, whether it's short-term news, fads, trends, cultural phenomenons. So the first thing I think from a brand perspective that we have to look at is tapping into these things have to be both planned but with agility. So the big events, we know that they're coming, Ramadan, Independence Day, Mother's Day, whatever the case may be, elections. So these you can plan for. Where we need agility is really good social listening then to pick up on short-term trends or cultural moments. The next step then is where is that moment or that trend, that phenomenon, relevant to the brand? Not everything may be relevant at a point in time. And just because you can be there doesn't mean that you have to be. I think sometimes as marketers we get a bit hyperventilation and we want to be everywhere all the time. Making choices about what moment, what trend is relevant. The last one then is how do you make it a reward for the consumer that you've engaged? And so it has to then feed back into what does the brand stand for and how does it then contribute back into your brand metrics?
Got it. I mean, on one side, we're talking about human emotion, we're talking about authenticity. And I mean, there are 6 sessions till now, and every single session spoke about AI, right? I mean, we have to talk about AI, right? And beyond image generation, copy generation, how is Nestlé leveraging AI?
We've got... It's the question that everyone asks themselves, and there is not one answer. Of course, yes, we've been using AI a lot. It's not a new thing for us in Nestlé. Maybe from an advertising, brand building perspective, of course, in terms of precision targeting, data, analytics, and also in terms of whether it's translation or adaptation of content. But now at this new cusp, with Gen AI, predictive analytics, and the like, it's becoming a very different place. So we can all do the things that we've talked about, the simple AI activation pieces. But what we're seeing in terms of whether it's one tap or whether it's to do with attention, the key comes back to how do you ensure that what you are doing in the content driven with Gen AI, let's say, leads you to a brand impact, a brand result. With all due respect to all of our partners and everything, everyone will tell you we will increase your efficiency, we will give you good reach, we will give you et cetera, all correct. The question that we have to answer as brand owners and as the ones who are driving the business is across everything that we do, through the use of AI, analytics, prediction, Gen AI, et cetera, content models and the such, is what is driving the brand result that you're looking for. Not just the media result or the advertising result, but the brand metric itself. And I think that's now the next wave which is coming. And so those brands, I would say, those brand managers and agencies and partners that can help us harness across all the different silos of data and information, both outside and inside the brand, will really help us to then give better content, more relevant content, and content then that delivers against a brand metric that you're trying to deliver on.
Very interesting. Nestlé today has an impressive portfolio of brands, right? I mean, brands like Maggi, Milo, they hold a very special place in all our lives. In such a crowded marketplace.
No, you can put the Nestlé brands back. It's okay.
Second. Yeah. So in such a crowded marketplace, how do you cut the clutter? How do you differentiate and tell that story?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'll go back to something that someone in our organization said, and this is the same today as it was maybe 30 years ago. Everything is changing, but nothing is changing. At the end of the day, as brand owners, it's our responsibility to build the brand short-term and long-term, understanding, though, what is driving short-term and what is the short-term driving and leading to the long-term is obviously the key. So it all comes back to the consumer, because the consumer is still at the heart of everything that we do. So through, whether it's the use of insights, analytics, whatever we want to use, the deeper we understand who we are targeting obviously is going to be different by brand. And so you may have one campaign delivered across multiple channels, multiple audiences, all at the same time. And as long as the starting point was the core of the brand itself individually, then the brand is doing the job for the brand itself. So it's not so much about balancing one versus the other. It's always starting from the core, which is who is your consumer, how well do you know your consumer, how much data do you have about your consumer, to then make the connection between the personalization and the engagement as strong as you can.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, and I've seen the kind of work Nestlé has done on glance by tapping into the right movements as well. So thank you so much, guys. Just summarizing the conversation, we spoke about authenticity, we spoke about AI personalization, we spoke about breaking through the clutter. So very important part of building for One Tap Indonesia are content creators. I'd like to introduce on stage Christine, Managing Editor Glance, and a very, very unique creator on stage. Her name is Kuching Mala's Lazy Cat.
Hi everyone. So, I have a little story. One day, a friend of mine texted me. She said, Christina, I feel very sad. I feel devastated about my work. And I don't know what to do. I don't know how to reply. So I just sent her a very cute cat image. And she replied, Christine, thank you. I feel so much better. So I think everyone have this kind of similar experience, right? A little joy every day about cat content. I think Indonesian loves it very much. We even obsess with it, right? There's a huge meme culture and a lot of cat video on the internet right now, specific Indonesian language, Indonesian context. So, but who created all of this? I think we are meeting one of them. Welcome, Uchi.
Hello, welcome.
So Uchi is a cat content creator, and Uchi, I really, really want to know your story, but let's see.
Okay, thank you.
So I really want to know your story about how you start your journey, and then why you specifically engage with all of this cat universe.
Oke. Saya suka banget sama kucing dari kecil dan keluarga saya juga semuanya pemelihara kucing. Dan mulai dari situ perasaan saya terhadap kucing semakin berkembang. They're not pet anymore, they're my family. Saya bisa sedih banget kalau misalnya kucing saya hilang. And I start to making a content in 2016 karena saya ingin berbagi pengalaman dan berbagi kebahagiaan saya dengan orang-orang yang sefrekuensi dengan saya. And I began with sharing of adorable and funny cat videos, but I want to make it more insightful, so I make a new video. Saya buat tentang perawatan kucing, dan saya juga buat tentang tips dan trik bagaimana sih cara untuk memahami karakter-karakter kucing.
Okay, so you start loving the cat since you was a child.
Very much.
And then, but this is very interesting because you're not only creating those funny videos, right?
Yes.
You also tap into educational kind of area where you want to educate the cat owner to become a better pet owners, right? Okay, cool. And how many cats that you have right now?
Now I have 10 cats. Full of fluffy cats.
That's a lot.
That's quite a lot.
But I think it's a cuteness overload every day, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
Okay. One more question probably. As a content creator, you have a lot of channels, right, to put your videos. But I want to know specifically why brought you to Glance and how it can I don't know, connect you more to your audience?
I start creating content on Glance because they have a unique way to reach my audience directly through their lock screen. Dengan fitur ini konten saya bisa langsung keluar, langsung muncul ketika para pengguna membuka smartphone mereka. Jadi interaksi kita lebih cepat. It helps me to reach my audience easily, increase my views, and increase my engagement without have to compete with any other social media feed.
Oke, jadi kayak jalan pintas ya.
Iya,
It's like
benar.
one tap access to your audience. Anything else beyond that?
Saya pernah live di Glance dan bisa sampai puluhan ribu viewersnya. Something that I don't have in the any other platform karena algoritma yang berbeda. Dan menurut saya Glance memiliki moderasi dan aturan yang cukup ketat. Sehingga interaksi antara saya dan pengguna juga tetap positif dan saling menghargai. As a content creator, I can focus on more sharing video without any worrying about negative comment or negative content.
Okay, I think this is an important part because we always talk about content, but we never have the content creator perspective. And it's really important for you to feel safe.
Yes.
In the platform and trust the platform as
Yes,
well,
of
right?
course.
Okay. Thank you so much for your unique story and thank you for being here. And I think everyone is already hungry. So I think we are at the end of our session. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry. And if you're interested in seeing any of our glance report, you can go to the registration desk and grab the report yourself. Okay, and remember, one tap to all content that you love, only on Glance lock screen. Have a very joyful day and
Meow meow.
meow.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Tri Satyani Suci and Christine Franciska. I also would like to invite back on stage. Oh, you guys are back on stage. Thank you so much. That makes the photo session faster as we are about to start our lunchtime. Please. In the count of 3. Okay, we can move a little bit to the right. And okay, in the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Cheers. Once again, 1, 2, and 3. Cheers. Okay, thank you so much for sharing such a wonderful insights on how to use the Glance application.